someone that gives me like that masculine energy that like I do want to submit to. I think like
that's the piece of all the conversation.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Told you guys about Married at First Sight, and we're dealing with Miles and Karen at home scene. We're going to talk to you guys about the masculinity being questioned every single time, and talk about Karen's needs as well. And Miles also now beginning to voice his dissension towards her needs. Guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for notification of the uploads, and we appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded, alright? And don't forget, oh my gosh, and don't forget, you got the minerals, you got the minerals. Alright, cool. So, talking to you guys obviously about this scene, I think it was really interesting because we got to hear Karen actually fully express the fact she wants a man to put her in her place, but she actually explained it, and so I actually do give her props on that.
as the man of the house. Like we always have a solid plan. What are we doing? What are our goals? It's also my husband being like a protector
as well. And obviously Miles then explained as well about his point of view and what he requires and what he desires. Okay, so let's talk about this, what happened in this particular scene. So now the very first kind of opening parts that we saw was obviously Karen kind of again speaking about how she wants someone to make her laugh, to communicate with, and she wants masculine energy that she could submit to. Now, I think I've said it in the past reviews, I do understand Karen's position. There is a type of energy that she's talking about, and that energy she's talking about that is a natural affinity to submit to, oftentimes is associated with alpha males. And why? Because there is a misunderstanding of what we should respect in society, number one, what is leadership, number two, and what is masculine, number three. And I think this is the key part. When you don't understand what masculinity is and you go on based on what you've seen in your home, and if there's dysfunction in your home and you're not able to understand and deep it and come forth and go, actually this is not the only aspect of masculinity, then surely yes, you will try to marry someone, find someone, date someone who initiates similarly enough, just like your father. Okay, now this is no beef to Papa Daddy of Karen. This is me saying, okay, that there are certain archetypes of what we call masculinity of the, not just the old generation, but of generations past as well, due to the environment that they were in. Okay, and so there's a history behind this behavior. Okay, oftentimes black people's threat is physical. Therefore, the physical aspect of masculinity is needed. The protection and the servitude is needed because there's always external threats that are physical. And so therefore, there is a link for us as black people especially, that we have to have masculinity that shows itself in the way that you approach and your presence carries. Okay, and so that's very important to deep it. So I do understand Karen's viewpoint here. My issue is, okay, someone she can laugh with, that's fine, that's Miles. Someone she can communicate with, I think Miles can do better, but he's doing better. And the masculine energy she can submit to, we already know that she spoke about put me in my place. And I've done a video on this as well, detailing how it's dysfunctional, talking about put me in my place. But she went on to explain that she wants a man that will lead the home, that will step up to the plate.
Make an active decision to say, I trust you to lead me. And being able to honestly like put me in my place, you know, respectfully though. Like, hey, this is what you're doing, don't.
That will have a vision and a plan for them. And I'm like, okay, cool. When have you given him the room to step up? Because when he did step up, there was issues. Okay? When he stepped up with and him initiating about his needs, there was a whole beef about it. You felt unsafe. And so now, remember, you asked for a man to be understanding and give you time. He's been understanding and giving you time, and you're saying that he's not taking control of the reins. If he takes control of the, and this is why I said there's a confusion in Karen's head. And I explained this. This was back in episode 8, I think. The scene where they were talking about what he needs, right? And she said, obviously, in a cutscene where she said, "Oh, you know, I'm not opposed to Miles kissing me. You know, I'd want him to. It's weird if I have to initiate it, blah blah blah. But sis, Have you said yourself you want to take it slow, and yet now you want me to lead on the aspect you said take it slow on? How can I do both? I can't both go slow and then you have to give me a signal when it's okay for me to approach the bar. Because when I approach the bar, you said you're unsafe. I can't just go past that and do whatever I want to do. That's why I said it's confusion. You see, and the confusion comes from the fact that knowing that you are dysfunctional, but knowing you want better. And sometimes the two are fighting one another internally. Okay, I've got no problem with a woman saying that, you know, she wants a man to be a bit more communicative, to establish his boundaries. But let's use those words because they have their own type of meaning. Put me in my place isn't an explanation of what you truly mean. Whereas what you really mean is that I want a man to lead, I want him to be authoritative, I want him to be assertive, rah, rah, rah. That's not putting me in my place. Putting me in my place is common dysfunction. And I've explained that in another video. You know, it's... You know, Miles, and here's an issue as well. Not only is she talking about the fact that she wants a man to lead, etc., etc., she then uses that as a way to question. She weaponizes how she wants a man to be leading and weaponizes it as masculinity. Now, I don't know if this is a really very bad choice of words every single time with a lack of understanding of what masculinity is, but Miles is not non-masculine. Miles is not less masculine. Miles is not feminine. Miles is not any of those things. He's just a different type of masculinity that you're used to.
Like, there are areas that I need to grow and work on, yeah, hell yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I'm a man, you know, I'm driven, I'm gonna do all the things that are necessary.
As he said in episode 13, he's a progressive type of male. And he's not sure if you're ready for that. A male that can be in touch with his emotions. A male who can be touchy-feely. A male who can say he can get close to you. He doesn't have stoicism. He's not a male that suffers from emotional ability to connect with you. He hasn't got a problem with touching you and being close and hugging and snugging. He's got no problems like that. Why? Because he's not the male that is under survival mode. He's a male that's under thriving mode. And that's a key thing. A lot of people who struggle with emotional boundaries in terms of physicality and physical intimacy, the reason why they struggle with physical intimacy, one, it could be interference, someone did something in their youth, but two, it could be the fact that you were starved of that thing in your household. I done told you, I'm not a holding hands person. I'm not. And then I met my first girlfriend at the time, okay, and then she was like, listen, I like to hold hands. And do you know what I did? At first, it was awkward. My hand was mad straight like this. I couldn't hold her hand properly. I had to straight. And she was like, why can't you loosen your hand? I said, it's not normal for me. Why isn't it normal for me? Because it was never in my household. Not holding hands, the emotional care like that, the physical intimacy was never in my household. We don't do hugs in my household like that. No, because my dad was under survival mode, not thrive mode. He was just trying to make it in this country, and I understand that now. But we have to be aware of these things. They're not normal. Yeah? It's just been going for so long, we've called it normal. And so now Miles is now unsure of what that means. What does it mean that you know there's a masculine energy that you want to submit to? Yeah? And then she said, be comfortable stepping up. When didn't he step up? When you had a car situation, was that not masculine enough for him to go and fix it? I don't know nothing about cars, you know. Listen, if you ask me to change a tire, I don't know nothing about changing a tire, you know. I don't know nothing about changing a tire, you know. Yeah, I don't know nothing about changing a tire, blood. Yeah, but that's subjective. You know what I'm saying? It's not masculinity. It's subjective, bro. You see? So the stepping up. When your car was broke down, he was there to fix your car. Like,
I need you to be comfortable stepping up as the man of the house.
Mechanic. You know what I'm saying? When you were coming from pandemic and coming into the house, he was there helping you out, cooking, making sure that you're safe, make sure you're kind, make sure you're doing good. Do you get me? He stepped up already. Don't try to put down a man. The guy's comfortable stepping out. He's got no problems with that. Being a man of the house, again, that's vague. What does that mean? Have a solid plan. For what? Goals. Okay, I can rock with that. Goals, okay. And, you know, be a protector. You know, especially during the time of when there's going through Black Lives Matter. Okay, what does that look like? Because the thing is vague again. Protector, as in, how do you mean? Do you need to walk behind him? Does he need to stand in front of you every single time? Like, you know, like what are you talking about here, Karen? Right? Because what you're talking about is an architecture type of what you've seen as masculinity. Yeah? And then you're asking for that, and then you can't even bring the femininity to the table, if you're going to call it that. You can't bring your softness, your kindness, I should say kindness, your softness and your ability to nurture and to do touchy-feely. I'm going to say it again. The girl said in episode 13, I'm going to show you the clip, and she said, and I quote,
I really do think that naturally I'll be able to give you what you need. Yes, you need more physical touch. Like, is that something?
It's natural for me to, to nurture and da-da-da-da, right? I naturally do it, and yet we're not seeing it, Karen. We're not seeing it. And the excuse of, oh, well, he's not the normal masculine man I'm used to. That's not the reason why you don't do it. It's not natural for you to do it, Karen.
It's not like my second nature to be like, oh, come here.
Right.
Even when you put your hand on his shoulder in episode 13, it was awkward. It was awkward, girl. And my thing is this, she wants she wants to be put in her place, innit? And, I've spoken about this in extension in a lot, but this put me in my place business again. I think is what's caused a lot of the issues in terms of her looking at Miles as a viable suitor. And, even your friends, I've tried to highlight to you for the lack of affection is a problem. And yet we're still running with this narrative of your masculinity is a problem for me. So actually what you've been doing is actually tearing the brother down from the very beginning. Now, a lot of us would have said, listen, this relationship ain't for me. But Miles is persevering through it. And so I want to make this point as well. I've seen the threads and stuff like that. Oh, Miles is always protecting her on the interviews, da-da-da. Absolutely, that's what Miles is going to do. That is what Miles is going to do. And not only that, because she says she wants to protect her, her bad behavior now is going to be covered by him. Because remember I told you about the fact that if you are going to follow Karen's lead here, you're going to change Miles, not her. You are going to change. And you're going to try and change to be everything that she wants and still will not be enough. And the reason why is this. Who you are is who you are. You can't be anything else. Who you are is who you are. You can't change it. You understand? Like this, I've had this conversation with my missus. Like, I'll tell you what I can and can't do. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. This is what I can learn to do because I feel it's a movable object. Here's things that I'm definitely not moving on doing. If you're asking for that type of male, that's not me. You can take a walk. You understand? You can take a walk. It's alright. I don't have to be with you. There are plenty more fish in the sea, darling. And the same vice versa for her. She can tell me the same thing. This is the type of girl that she is. This is not the type of girl she is. And thank God that she's a touchy-feely kind of person. You know what I'm saying? Because I appreciate that. Man needs a cuddle sometimes. Man needs a little, a little hug and that. You get me? You understand? Man likes a little snuggle and them things there. You understand?
Like, there are areas that I need to grow and work on. Yeah, hell yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I'm a man, I'm driven. I'm going to do all the things that are necessary.
And so, what for me is concerning here is that, when Miles was listening to her, I could see by his head movements he was pissed. Like, his head movements were all over, and I said, this guy he's hurt and he's pissed.
And, I'm driven. I'm going to do all the things that are necessary.
He's had enough. And he said it to his boy Blake earlier on. I've had enough, bro. Like, there's been too many attempts on my life. Like, this girl just keeps going on and on and on and on about the situation. But, bro, I'm tired, bro. Like, every single time this girl wants to say something. Come on. You get me? And so, and then you have to, if you have to come out and say to somebody, I'm a man. Well, quite clearly you are. We can see that, sir. But if you have to come and say that you are a man, that should let you know that your manhood has been questioned the whole entire time, which means he's been emasculated. Because I have to question you. I now have to reinstate to you, I am a man. No, I can understand if you don't like my type of male, but to make me question the fact that I'm saying to you that I'm a man, I have to reiterate to you, I'm a man, Not in an egotistical way, but I'm a man to establish it in your mind that I'm a man. I'm not an idiot. Yeah? And I'm not here yet. And yet, this is where Miles is. So I have to also say to Miles, brother, sir, I know you think you can make this work. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't try it. But what I am saying to you is that you better wake up and smell a king of coffee. Because a part of me said, obviously, he thinks he's all that Karen needs. Right now, I don't think so. Like, now I know Pascal said it, she's operating in a place of fear, and I do agree with that. But she has genuine needs that she also wants to be met through Miles, and Miles ain't that guy. Miles is not the guy to put you in your place. Her friend said it very clearly and eloquently. Miles is the type of guy to ask you what's wrong, because that's how he operates. If Miles decides to go into, I'm going to tell you and put you in your place, I'm telling you he's going to come out of pocket. Because it is something that's not natural to him. And when you start to behave in that way, you're acting out of character and you're acting out of the way that you're meant to behave. You've got a loving nature, a caring nature, an emotional nature, which allows you to connect with people on different forms and different levels. So now you changing that to put me in my place, kind of energy, bro, it will throw you off course. You will no longer be Miles, as you said yourself, right? So I don't see how you can be that guy for the guy for Karen right now. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not that guy. Although I do believe you're the guy that will have a plan. You do have a plan. That has a vision. I do believe you have a vision. The guy that will lead, I believe that as well. But in terms of what she's saying underneath it, I don't think you have that. The exoskeleton, you don't have that.
Know that I am. But I also need to see that she really is enjoying me, or wants to be with me, or wants to be in this marriage with me. And I need to know like sooner.
You know, he said obviously as well, in order to receive that masculinity, I need to know that you're actually my girl. And I love this. He called her out. He said, listen, hey, stop that madness, bro. Listen, let me talk to you for a second. If you think that you want me to, you know, to be that masculine, that, show me the feminine energy. Because I always say this, you're asking for provider energy, but you're not the housewife energy. You're asking for all the provider energy in the world from me, but you're not the type that is going to receive that energy. Yeah, you're trying to have your cake and eat it. You understand? Right, so you know, it wouldn't be fair if Miles came out here and said, "I want a woman to be in the kitchen. I want it to not work. I want it to be in the kitchen. I'll provide." I think there'll be uproar. And if he said, "Oh, I don't think she's feminine because she doesn't cook," do you know how many women will be offended? Because femininity is not based on cooking. Freaking hell, bro.
I want my wife to be someone who's proud of me, who's happy to be with me, who's like, yo, that's my man, and like, he's a damn good dude. I want a woman who like, be locked up in the crib, like wants to be just.
He wants a wife that will be proud of him, that will admonish him and say she's proud to be with him. Like, do you know what I mean? At this moment, Karen ain't there. At this particular moment, scarily enough, Karen ain't even close to being there. If anything, she's close enough to being disrespectful to you. Because when she was talking to her girlfriend and she was mentioning about the fact that, oh, Miles is a little bit more emotional, da-da-da-da-da. Like, bro, there was no celebration of your ability. The friends of hers celebrated you more than she did. The friends of hers celebrated you more in her life than anybody else.
To like, be whoever the hell I want to be, and you know at the end of the day, like, oh, that's my dude. And so,
and again, he expresses again what he actually needs. Which is why I said that this is not the first time. Like, and that's why I said about Karen not listening. And I think she on purposely not listening because she don't respect dude. The guy has said, I want more affection. You said, what is there any more that I should be giving to Miles? Sis, episode 13, he said, listen, I need more affection. And you promised, you said, I naturally can be that way for you. You said it. You said you naturally can be that way for him. And look where we are now. Look where we are now. 4 months in and still none of this behavior. It's not natural for you, sis. It's not natural for you, sis. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're seeing his emotion and thinking to himself, I can't rest my emotions in him because I feel like he's a bit soft. I don't know if that's what you're thinking, but I really think that, you know, you've got there may be a distorted picture of what you feel is a leadership role in a male.
somebody, I want to be able to like be whoever the hell I want to be, and you know at the end of the day, like, oh, that's my dude. And so I think that's why like the masculinity stuff was tough for me, because it was like, if I can't be.
I was at a very critical point at the very end. He said, listen, if I can't be myself out there, I've got to be able to be myself in this house. Because if I can't be that myself in this house and I have to go out there, you're going to make it 10 times harder for me. And that's how relationships actually break up. You're not going to allow me to be me in my own house? Fool me? No, fool you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, no, blood, you're not going to allow that to do me. Like, yo, I've got to be able to be a man in my own home. And if you're de-emasculating me, you know what I'm saying? If you're emasculating me, sorry. If you're downtrodden me, if you're not proud of me, like, bro, like, come on, man. You know, so I told you about this whole submission thing. It's about the fact is men want respect, they want honor, they also want love as well for submission. Do you understand? But if you don't respect me and honor me, bro, like, it's going to be long. It's going to be long.
I don't know for certain that emotionally that you could get to that point where like you're completely emotionally like vulnerable and like intimate with me.
He made a final point. He said, I don't know if you can be emotionally vulnerable with me to the extent that I need. And it's funny, isn't it? Because he said this twice now. It's funny, isn't it? Because also the same thing that her friend also said, that, you know what, she knows that Karen's trying fully, but actually she's not sure whether, you know, Karen is going to be able to fulfill Miles's needs. And what's interesting is that when she did cry with Dr. Pepper, she cried about the fact that she was being told that she wasn't trying hard enough. Not about the fact that, listen, you're not getting it right with the affection, but the fact that you're not trying hard enough. That's why you were crying. And I had to deep her. I said, raw. Episode Dr. Pepper, the reason she was crying is because she felt like that Miles was questioning her trying. I said, for me? No, for you. You understand? Listen, anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah? We'll talk about the rest of the couples now. Yeah, I just have to get this out of the way, guys. Okay, so make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, and click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And we appreciate you.